Hi, folks. Did you all pay your taxes? I'm going to take a poll. Yes, up, down, thumbs up. Did you pay your taxes? The president not releasing his tax forms today. I refer you to Secretary of Treasury Mnuchin, all about that. It's under audit. He's submitted hundreds of pages. You know the arguments. One thing I want to say is echo the Secretary of the Treasury, my good friend Steve Mnuchin. This administration has no intention to weaponize the IRS the way the Nixon administration did. And all this looks a little too political for us, but I'll leave it there and refer you to the Treasury Secretary. That's all I have on that. Yes. No, you may not. I have nothing else to say on the matter. I refer you to the Treasury Department.
The tax bill, the Republican tax plan that passed, has a perception problem. Americans don't like it. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, I don't know. Look, perception problem. Here's the deal. Poll after poll, almost 60% have I need the umbrella. It's starting to really pour. Thank you, Susan. And now you're going to need an umbrella, too. I'm sorry. 58%, Wall Street Journal, NBC, the Harris-Harvard poll, the Battleground poll, all show tremendous approval of the economy. All right? And taxes are a means toward that end. So the tax debate, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, you've got a very prosperous America with low unemployment. Blue-collar workers are doing actually higher wages than we've had in years, and the blue-collar workers are doing better than the white-collar workers, although everybody's sharing in the prosperity. We're growing at 3%. We're seeing terrific business investment. You know, individual families, average families, after-tax incomes are up $2,300 and probably going to continue. So I would say Americans approve of a prosperous economy, which frankly has been rebuilt by President Trump's policies. That's the way I would phrase that.
Draghi says that he's worried about Fed independence. Is he right to be? Mario Draghi of the ECB says he's worried about Fed independence.
Our administration has no intention of going up against Fed independence or damaging Fed independence. Never have, never will. That's always been our view. We have opinions. The president has opinions about monetary policy. It's a free country. No reason why he shouldn't. Good story in the Journal this weekend about Fed history and how there's nothing new about presidents having opinions. We have no intention of damaging Federal Reserve independence, none whatsoever. Yes, sir. Yes.
Perception, response to, following up on Blake's question, perception is that the tax cuts among average Americans, the tax cuts benefited the corporations a lot more than it benefited average Americans.
You know who benefits? Average Americans, blue-collar workers. Take a look at the numbers, okay? Perceptions are lovely. I don't know what any of that means. Here, again, CA has estimated this on an after-tax basis. Average Americans, weekly earnings and so forth, up about $2,300 per family household. That's a terrific gain. That's a terrific gain because of lower taxes and stronger employment. You can't do better than that. And that may grow over time. You know, some of our early estimates show that's going to grow over time. That's what matters. What matters is a low unemployment rate. What matters is more people working and prospering. What matters is a tremendous burst in our energy industry. This is the hottest economy in the world. So I'm just going to leave it there. Big corporations hire people. Middle corporations, smaller companies. Look at the NFIB. The small business surveys are still exploding with respect to employment and future investment plans and hiring. So I just don't buy that. I think the media is just harping on that. Again, let me come back to the polls that matter. Economic performance rated about 58% by all the major polls. You can't hardly do better than that. And you see, tax cuts have always been a means to that end. A generalized prosperity that's surprising everybody. You know, we're running 1% above what the average estimates were a year ago. So we're pretty satisfied with that. Yes.
Can we get an update on the Fed Reserve picks? Has the president been making calls to the Senate, and does he still fully support both of them?
At this time, we support both of them. Yes, we're still, and they're both being vetted. I have no new news on that.
on that?
There are no new news. They're both being vetted by the FBI, and we're in touch with the Senate Banking Committee, and they will do their own investigation process. So we're just letting that run its course, if you will.
Larry, Democrats like Bernie Sanders say that they would overturn the president's tax cuts for the wealthy and for corporations to fund their agenda like universal health care.
Yeah.
What effect do you think that that would have on the economy?
You know, I think if you ran universal health care, and even, let's say it's part of the Green New Deal in general, our estimates are you'd lose 15% of GDP within 10 years. 15% of the economy would be gone because of the government planning, collectivist, socialist approach. 100, here's what Mr. Sanders doesn't say, 180 million Americans would lose their private insurance policies. 180 million? That's extraordinary. And I would conclude, as I have and others, all these socialist proposals, these collectivist central planning proposals, take away our liberty and take away our prosperity. The whole thing's a big poverty trap. And as I say, estimates are up to 15% of GDP inside of 10 years. So I think this would be a very bad approach. And by the way, we are ourselves working hard to reform healthcare. Yes, ma'am.
Being that it's the average American Joe that voted in this president, what are you hearing from them about the tax cuts?
Well, look, as I said, 58% of them think the economy is, positive, prosperous. That's a big number. That's a huge number. And I think, some of these polls, I don't want to go into a Kudlow dissertation on polling, but some of these polls ask questions that don't really give you the big picture. So I'll just leave it at that. What's happening here is growth, prosperity, jobs, wages are rising, productivity is rising. People didn't expect that, output per hour. Businesses are investing, and this is the hottest economy in the world. Money is just flowing here. Money is just flowing. Anybody I missed, and then we'll cause it in. Yes, please.
Right now, are we expecting any timing
China
announcement on the
talks
visit?
going very well. Glad you asked that. Good progress. Each week we continue. Whoops, there go my file cards. I'll get them in a second. Each week they've been meeting and making great progress. Sorry. On really every aspect, thank you. I'll get that in a second. Good progress, very positive on that. I'll call it, I'll just be an optimist about it. We're not quite there yet. We've still got some open issues. Currency reforms look very good, for example. There's been progress on enforcement, just pretty much across the board. I think the key here is steady conversations since they were here, and that will continue. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Larry, why is the president getting involved with Boeing? Did you tweet about Boeing this morning?
This is too hard to do. All right.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, buddy.